Happy Tuesday.
Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It is time for us to sit down
and talk about how bad our cats are being.
I've had my annual raise conversation with my boss. So we need to look at my new rate. It's not like a major raise, but it is a difference. And I think for me, the best way to avoid, what do they call it, lifestyle creep, is to have conversations about these things when they come up and make these decisions in advance. So that way it doesn't just fold in and start becoming more spending,
I have never heard it referred to that way.
Lifestyle creep?
No. I've always heard it referred to as lifestyle inflation.
There's that too. But the creep, I think, is just when it's I got a raise. It's not a huge raise, but it's a little raise. And a lot of people get a little raise every year. And so if that little raise just becomes part of what you're already spending, then
That's true.
It just goes away. It just gets eaten up. I also I'm getting a decent bonus. I'm getting a bonus. And we've decided what to do with that. Which I know we already know what we're going to do with that. But again, having conversations and being intentional is the goal here. So let's take a look. So current state, I've done a terrible job here. Current state, I make $100,000 a year, which is crazy. That's another reason why I'm not so mad at this raise not being, last year I got an 8% raise, and for me I was like, that's what I should get every year. But I also, last year in the last 8 months, I've gotten a $45,000 raise. So the fact that I still get a raise after that is so funny to me. So I'm cool. I'm happy. I know this is basically just an inflation bump technically, but I'm very pleased with how this year has gone for me financially. So I'm cool with it. But so current state right now, $100,000 a year. My take home is about this. It's very similar every single week. I get paid weekly. Every single week it's very similar, but it's usually somewhere around here. I'm sending $280 a week to my student loans, just on a separate account, just before it even hits the budget. That's why it's included in part of this conversation. And then about $944-ish, $944 to my regular budget every week for spending. So the new rate is $104,000 annually, which is about, after taxes, will be about a $50 a week bump, somewhere in there. So I just wanted to sit down with this one and have a conversation about how we want that to look in our budget.
Yeah.
So I always said in the past that every time I got a raise, I would want to put more towards my student loans. And while technically I did that in a way that I was putting none and now I'm putting some, but I've never been so intentional as I got a raise, here's how much of that raise I want to go to student loans every single week. Mm-hmm. So I think at the very least, I would like to bump this up to $300 a week.
Yeah.
So $20 of that $50 to go to student loans. And then that puts, so $974-ish. Let's just call it $970. Because I'm probably going to be a couple dollars off with my tax math.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else we want to be really intentional about? Or do we want to just kind of let this float and live in the budget,
I think because we're already at a place where we're going to be taking kind of a hard look at our budget in a couple weeks, that for now, letting $30 a week float and cover whatever it needs to in the budget is totally fine. And
That's
then
a good point.
We'll make more intentional decisions about it
That's
a
a good
little
point.
farther down the road.
Because we have been discussing how we want to have a sit down and at the beginning of 2024, sit down, look at our budget, go over the targets, make sure everything's still in line with what we're looking at. Not necessarily a fresh start, but just a quick,
a little refresh.
Yeah. So that is a good point that I had not considered. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, there's that. And then,
if you really want to do something with that extra $30 a week, I would say gifts, just because that's the time of year that we're at.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I start seeing this reflected on my December 8th paycheck. Mm-hmm. And so we'll probably just go to gifts.
Yeah. It'll be 3 weeks and it'll cover gifts and that'll be great.
Yeah, we are a little low. Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I had not considered that. Thank you. That we are about to do that. I'll put it on my list. Here, look, look at this list. It's about conversations. Don't look at it. Don't get ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Stop looking at it.
Ah.
Yeah, you're gonna have all these. That makes the conversation boring if you know about it in advance. Okay, you can look.
It's also our finances.
I know you know about it anyway. Okay, there's that, and then I've also got this bonus coming in. That is the before tax rate, and tax on bonuses in New York is kind of very high. So I think it's gonna be something like, oh dear, not $1 million. I wish. I think it's gonna be something like $1,900.
Okay.
And well, normally I'd be like, let's have a conversation about what we want to do with that. We already know what we want to do with that, and that is
Wedding.
It's going right into our wedding. Paying for our pizza truck.
We're very excited.
Okay, so that's that this year. Kind of uneventful. I was hoping for more, but I also completely understand why it's not more. That was just the optimist in me being like, maybe I was just that incredible. Also, this is my bonus prorated for the days that I worked, because our fiscal year starts in October, and I started this job in March, like the beginning of March. So it would have been 5,000, but they kept some because I didn't work here, which is fair. I think it's super reasonable. Mm-hmm. So yeah, on December 8th, I will get this, and we will see what the actual numbers are. Actually, we'll see what the actual numbers are for all of this, and hopefully I'm pretty close, because I'm going to make this change, the 300. I'm going to put that in probably this week, so it reflects on that paycheck, so it starts immediately.
Yeah.
And that's that on that.
Okay.
It's kind of boring, but that's fine. I think
Kind of boring, but...
I think it's important to sit down and just be intentional about it,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it definitely feels good to know what's going on, from my perspective at least.
Yeah, that's fair.
We had a big old conversation this week about mental load, and how I don't often realize how much mental load Kaylee takes on when she does a lot of the financial stuff for us, and how it's something I'm very grateful for, to have kind of taken off my plate in that way, especially by someone who is so passionate and responsible about finances. But it's also really nice to sort of be in her mental orbit and know what's going on, so I don't feel left out.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard thing to balance, and like mental load in our house, we're very aware of it, right? Like Shea takes a lot of the household mental load. Here, let's make us bigger so they can actually. Mental load in our house, Shea takes on a lot of the household things, like the cleaning and
the meal planning
and just like day-to-day function of our household.
Yeah.
Whereas I think,
and that's very visible work.
Yeah. It is very visible work. And we have a household cleaning list, and I'm the kind of person who will just when she's not home, I'll jump on and do a few things.
Yeah.
And then she'll get home and not even know that I've done, I'm very under the radar.
Yeah. I told her a couple of days ago that she needed to brag more about what she's done so I can appreciate it.
I just don't think it's bragging to clean your house. I don't think it's worth it. I live here, Yeah,
but I like it when you tell me what you did.
That's fair.
Because then otherwise I feel like you didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is that the mental load of the finances is a very quiet thing, but it is it is, I think it almost feels not fair because this is something I really enjoy. But it does, the downside of it is that when things are tighter and things are difficult, it is something that's on my mind a lot.
Yeah.
And it's trying to find a balance of having you more involved, and so you know what's going on and feel comfortable, but also not at a point where we're both carrying the mental load of it, so we're both exhausted by the same thing, because then that just takes us down, man.
Yeah.
So it's a tough balance, but I think little conversations like this and check-ins like this help bridge that gap.
Quite a bit.
I love you.
I love you too.
And we love you. Thanks for watching if you did. I feel like these kind of videos get less people watching, but the people who watch it appreciate it. So I just like to document these things because this is all part of it.
Yeah.
The weekly budgets and having the conversations throughout it, that's part of it. We can't have a comfortable weekly budget meeting if we don't have these conversations throughout the week.
That is true.
So, talk to your partner today. All right, okay. That's it for us. We'll see you all on Friday. Have a wonderful week. I'm going to start working now. Boo!